Hi there guys, this is Farmer Bob. Welcome back to my channel, and today's video we're going to have a look at the new editor version 9.0.1 for Farming Simulator 22, and just a quick browse and noticeable changes that I've just saw by looking at it and digging around a bit. I'm sure there's a lot that I haven't discovered yet, but yeah, I just wanted to just share with you what's the difference now in Farming Simulator 22 and the new Giants editor. For us who make maps, yeah, it's fairly interesting to obviously discover the differences and what's going on, you know. Okay, so let's tackle it from the start. If this is your first time, please do subscribe. Remember to like and to also share my channel and my videos. I really appreciate, guys. It helps my channel grow, and that's the whole idea. What I'm going to do with Farming Simulator 22, I'm going to start a whole new fresh series on map making and how to make maps. And then we're going to start by making a small little map all together from start to finish, and then play it at the end, you know. So that is what I'm going to do. Now obviously this video has got nothing to do with that. This is just a look on the editor and some differences that I've noticed between the old version 8 and now the version 9, the new version. So yeah, let's get stuck in with that, guys. Great. So I've opened the Alpine farming the Alpine map is the name of it. Keep on thinking it's Alpine farming map, but it's just Alpine map, and it is a beautiful map. I must say the guys have really poured their hearts into this map, and it's an awesome, a beautiful scenic map, you know. Yeah, first things, the editor itself, the layout, everything's still the same. Nothing has changed. You still got the default layout attributes on that side, and your scene graph here with your terrain editing and that underneath that. You can move these about, obviously you know about that. You can push it anywhere where you want, drop it in wherever you want the menus to appear, or you can close them all together and take them out of the way completely, obviously, and then just get them back here at this scene graph or the window tab. And then we had terrain editing. There it is. Great. I just want to drop this back in here, like so. Yeah, that's how I'm used to working with it, you know. So you set it up the way you like. The speed here at the bottom, it's by default, it's normally at 10. You can change this with your keypad or your numpad, plus and minus. So that is just your move speed. So when you select something and say you walk around with your forward and backward by holding your right mouse button, that basically is still everything the same, nothing changed there. And then obviously your log, your console will be at the bottom when you come. I just normally have it open to see if there's any errors when I start the map, and then I close it while I'm working, so I get a bit more of a screen. Okay, so that's not interesting. What I've seen, the first thing is the mesh. That's the difference that I've seen. Terrain mesh paint mode. I haven't discovered what that does yet. That I couldn't figure out yet, but yeah, we'll get around to that. It doesn't seem at this point something that I need to worry about. Under maps, oh yeah, the next interesting thing, guys, I've discovered is the first person mode, which is very nice. I dig that. So when you come close to when you're here, for instance, you can go into first person mode, and then you can actually walk around as if you're in the game. So that is going to help a lot with perspective, you know, especially when you want to come close and just walk around and look at things from a first person view, you know. And then once you press escape, it will take you out of that again, and your normal navigation goes back to the way it used to be, you know. So that is cool. Now the next big thing that I've seen on your terrain sculpt mode, they've added some under your options. You can now select not the brush type, sorry man. You can now go and you can do erosion, and you can do slope, and slope target. So in other words, you now have the option to create proper slopes, where with the old one it was very difficult to make slopes and hills. It was you had to like I used to have make little sections of hill and then smooth it all out, and the one a bit higher than the other, almost like contours. I used to make contours with the replace command, and that is different. So I like that. That is awesome that they've put a way to make slopes, because it's difficult to make a hill. It is in the old one, but in this new one it's going to be fun making a hill, so yeah, they've addressed that. I'm very happy for that. Good. The next thing I noticed is some snappings. I can't remember if that was in the old one. I never used it, by the way, so if it was there, good. If it wasn't, so it's all right. The other thing that I've seen, they've gone back to the Farming Simulator 17 style of working everything with placeables, So like for instance, in the Editor 8 or Farming Simulator 19, we used to have a folder or a directory or a transform group called placeables or placeholders. Now they've done away with that. So the problem now is, what I don't like is, again, like in the old version 7 editor, you can't see your stuff. So they get placed via XML now as a placeable. So you're going to have to really be creative in once again in figuring out your terrain and everything, because you don't have the actual item in here. Although I haven't made a map yet, so I suppose you will build it with the item in the map, and then once you're done setting everything around it, you'll probably delete it, so there's no placeholders folder anymore, which is sad. I don't know if you can add it. I'm going to try when I start making maps. It's going to be part of our tutorial, obviously. I'm going to try and add it and see if you can have a placeholders folder, because it's just a script on a folder. So that was a very handy tool to have, because now it looks like the farm is empty, but there's actually a lot of stuff going on the farm, buildings and whatever. So if you go, for instance, to your BGA now, the same thing everywhere. It's just an empty lot, with some props and stuff, but the actual BGA is gone. That gets loaded in now via XML, which is the same as Farming Simulator 19. It's just you don't have it in the editor anymore, Your stuff is not there in the editor. So if you, for instance, go into your map XML, this is now for the Alpine farming map. Everything is still the same. I can't see anything different. They all still looks the same. You pull your i3ds is here for additional files. The hotspot has now changed from the house. It used to be the house. The shop, the normal dealership, and now it's gone to the animal dealer. So I don't know what the change is there. It's just some tiny things that I saw that's different. And then now you don't have a default items anymore. So this has now become the placeables. Placeables.xml. So your old default items is now placeables.xml, and it's the same drill, guys. Take the BGA for instance. You can trace it. It's in the game directory under Alps BGA.xml. So if you go to that directory into the game, you will find the BGA. The XML is there. You open the XML, and the XML again points to the i3D. It's exactly the same. Nothing has changed there. So yeah, they haven't really done away with that, which actually makes it awesome for converting your maps now to Farming Simulator 22. It's a much less of a hassle, because you don't have to change too much of XML. So you can just rename your default items now to the new one, which is placeable. So it just makes it easier, So the mod desk is still the same. Nothing changed there, where you can put your author and your version number and the map name, stuff like that, and then obviously your actual map all the details of your map with the XML file, and just the locations of your vehicles file, and all the other goodies, placeables. There it is. It used to be default items, and then there's an items file as well. And this items file, I don't know what it is, because it's empty. If you go to it itself, if you go to placeables, map outline, if you go to that items file, if you go into maps, you'll find the items file there, but it's empty. If you open it up, there's nothing in it. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but anyway, we'll probably find out in future. Something else to see. Good. Yeah, guys, so basically your fields, everything else is still the same. Just want to collapse this so we can have a look at that. Here's your map, and in here you will have your locations. Obviously that's standard for how they set up their tree. The backdrop, construction, infrastructure, rail tracks, cable cars, and then the other thing which I could find which is different, your fields are still the same, nothing changed there, you've got all your fields. The other thing that they added is your the splines. In your splines there's a new thing called AI. There used to be only traffic and pedestrian, but now there's an AI spline, and the whole spline system it's much more work to now set up splines, because you now have to actually do splines everywhere for your AI to work. You will see that if I go into the traffic system, there is like millions of splines now to get your I just want to quickly zoom out a bit so you can have a look. You see there in the back, if I now go there, you'll see there's like tens of thousands of splines to run now, and not only one, you've got a left and a right side of the road now as well. So you have to run now a dual spline for a left and a right, and it's all tiny little bits and pieces that all at the end of the day make one huge massive spline everywhere. You see, so if you come close now to this, you'll see there's a left and a right, so that and it's a start and stop, a start and an end for one going this way, and other one start and an end going that way for your direction of traffic. In the old days it was just a loop, because we didn't have AI that drive. So now the AI uses these splines to obviously find a road, and from where it is to actually eventually go through all the splines to get to where it wants to go, so it uses the splines to get a route to where it wants to go, if you understand what I'm saying. So that's a difference, guys. So I think in my case, I don't think I'll be worrying too much about the splines, because I've never really worried about traffic. I just normally, everyone wants to use Courseplay and auto drive, which is awesome. So I won't be bothered putting splines in my map. Maybe for the normal AI traffic, I will run a bit of spline for pedestrians, but it's not something that I don't think I've put splines or something in any of my maps. You play my maps and you'll see there's no traffic. Traffic is, to me, it's just a bother, because your tractors and stuff keeps bumping onto them, and they're always in the way. It's just horrible. Although in Farming Simulator 22 now, with the AI system, they actually don't crash anymore into your vehicles. So if you want to set it up like that, it is actually much better. But I don't know what Courseplay is going to do with that, because Courseplay is obviously not connected to the AI system of the map. So yeah, you're still going to bump into cars if you use Courseplay or auto drive. I think. I don't know, but I think that's what's going to happen. So yes, guys, that's the quick and big differences I could see. It's exciting. There's a lot of nice, good things, but it's still basically the same principle as the old setup, So yeah, it's I like, because if there's not too much change, then we can just carry on and build new stuff for FS22 without having to go and swat the manual for 2 years or whatever, to get up to speed with all the changes and stuff. So we can ease into it easily and learn as we go along, because everything seems to be still working the same as in the old one, except for the little bit of changes in how they work with the XML files and the placeable system, So yeah, to me, I like it's a good setup. We can carry on without too much fuss. So that's what to me it's as a map maker, it's important, so we can just jump in and go ahead, carry on making maps. Yeah. Well, guys, I hope it's been informative. I hope it hasn't been too draggy. Oh yeah, so one thing I forgot to mention, under our texture layers, our terrain foliage paint mode, there is some more, there is less and more. If you look at your normal things, there is the deco bush, which now has got a lot of more bushes, like berry bushes and hazelnut trees, but it's all small bushes. So it's just different types of bushes, which is nice. It's not just the normal bushes. And then under our deco foliage, they have, where's the foliage? Deco, there it is. Unfortunately, they've taken away a lot, so there is much less now. Although the nice ones are still there, the apera and the cirsium and the papaver. That's basically the three that I like to use, and the rumix. Now the rumix is that small little flower, greeny thing with no flowers. And then the grass is still in there. Grass small, grass medium. They've got a little bit of more flowers in there, which is nice, different ones from the old ones. And then under our dirt or our terrain texture paint mode, they have all the different textures still the same, nothing changed there. These ones are your main textures. I actually don't know why they bother with these four different ones, because these ones are horrible to use. They make horrible patterns when you use them. It's like a pattern that you can recognize from afar, and it doesn't look good. So stick to these ones that is in capital letters, and you'll never have that boring look on it, So yes, guys, that's my take on the new editor. Apart from the little things that I've noticed, everything looks good, and we can carry on. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate. Remember to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for my sponsors, or rather my supporters. Really appreciate you guys, and have a wonderful day. I'll catch you next time. Cheers.